It wasn't recording, Ty.
Really?
Fuck me. After all that, I thought I pressed record. Great. So we're 10 seconds in now. Fuck me. I was like, how
Have you
long have we
pressed?
been? I was like, how long have we been talking about this now? It's like, oh, 0? What? Oh. Fuck
Have you?
me.
Let me know when you've actually pressed record.
Yeah, no,
Then
I pressed record now. We're recording
shouldn't
now.
shouldn't we just start over?
No. Leave this in. Editor, that's me. Leave this in. People need to know that we fuck up. So, Ty, I hear there's toxicity on the Halo subreddit.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, yeah. I mean, it happened 9 hours ago that the Halo subreddit was locked down for the
Oh shit!
weekend.
So it's actually pretty fresh then.
Yeah, locked down for because of toxicity towards 343
Hmm.
and other players.
Like, by toxicity, or people complaining and not liking it, and then they're like, "Well, why can't you? It's the best game ever. How can you not like it?"
Um,
Like that kind of toxicity.
I mean, I'm not sure. I've
Oh,
not
so
been
yeah, it's
on
been
that
locked down.
subreddit.
I did.
Um,
I did. I have. I think I followed it, so I'm actually able to. Wait. So you. So can you not see in it?
no,
Like,
you can still go onto it.
you can't add. You can't post or respond.
I think that's it.
Right.
Um,
Oh, mate.
yeah.
I hate the
The
gamers
mod
TM.
the mod post that talks about it is like that some people on the sub have been responsible for like doxing
Oh, fuck's sake.
and death threats,
How
which
much of a.
is
Oh, sorry. How much of a goddamn coward have you got to be to dox someone? And like, what do you gain by that?
the
Like, the thing is, right? If I was in an internet argument with someone and they were like, "Oh, yo, here's a text document with your address on it," I'm like, "Yeah, all right, cool."
mm.
Like, you know where I live. Sweet. Like, that doesn't do anything. It's just an invasion of my privacy. Like,
It depends on who receives it. Like it can come across as a bit of a threat.
yeah, but come on, if you're that much of a wimp to argue with me online, you're not gonna come to my house. Like 9 times out of 10. It's not. I mean, I'm not going to say. I'm not going to say. I'm not going to put that out there and then say don't take any threats like that seriously. But if someone's going to kill you, chances are they're not going to give you a warning. I would imagine that would make it very difficult to kill you if I forewarned you,
I mean,
unless you're the Dark Brotherhood.
whatever. Anyway,
Yeah,
so
it's
demo
Oh, go on.
demo wise,
Yeah,
uh,
I forgot to say this because this was in the bit that I wasn't recording. I need to talk about Inscription.
yeah,
I got some shit to say about that regarding the demo and the game. There we go. No, we're all caught up.
I've played two small demos and one big one.
Mm-hmm.
One of the small ones I played was called Brushlings.
Okay, sounds adorable.
Um, um, no, it's very very rudimentary. Um, like it looks like a Unity tech demo
Okay.
in a way. So the game is you play as essentially a fairy,
Oh.
and you have to bring color back into the world. So you're placed into a like grayscale world, and you have to go to like mushrooms, press a button, and like bring color back into the environment.
Yeah.
Um, there's also a simple combat system where you can aim and you can shoot like rocks
Okay.
from your wand, and when they impact enemies, they deal damage. Sometimes when you go to like and if they hit a mushroom thing, it also counts as bringing color back to it.
Hmm.
Um, sometimes if one of the color mushrooms, if you hit it, will turn out to be hidden enemies.
Okay.
Um, that's the extent of the gameplay.
I was
So
looking at a video for it now. Beta.
yeah, um, look-wise, it needs a lot of polish. It definitely has the look of objects placed into a scene.
Yeah, and very
Uh,
very uni project, like uni student, like
yeah.
terrain, the terraforming tool, and very generic textures.
Um, with like and with the mushroom stuff, like bring color back into it, I didn't quite get if there was a mechanic to it.
Hmm.
Because like I came to a field with like a dozen mushrooms, and I needed to activate a few of them, and if I activated the wrong one, it would reset, and I would need to activate like 5 of them at once.
Hmm.
I couldn't quite figure out if there was any way to tell which ones were right and which ones were wrong.
Well, it's out in 4 weeks, mate.
Um, the enemies, they just go towards you, and if they get into contact with you, they take health down.
Okay.
Luckily, your rock shooting ability is very fast.
I'm watching some of the footage
So
of it
I
now.
just ended up like machine gunning rocks towards everything, and I won. Yeah, it was very basic. Came across as like a university project.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's out on the 6th of January, so
Oh, one weird
curious to
thing.
see how much more they'll get done.
The music was weirdly bombastic. Like I was floating around. Oh yeah, another irritation though. You float, but you can't actually fly. It's just you're moving, but you're above the ground.
Oh, like a fake hover.
Yeah.
Oh.
Um. But yeah, like you're floating around in this like peaceful forest, touching mushrooms, and this like epic fantasy main menu soundtrack is going on.
looking at it,
This
I'm expecting like pan flutes to be playing. I haven't got any of the audio on, but watching the video, it looks like I should have like little pan flutes and chimes playing when you
no,
said that.
it was like a Lord of the Rings battles track or something
Oh
like that.
God.
Not the same quality, but just
No,
like
but
it
that.
was battle music
Yeah, I get that.
essentially.
Yeah. Oh my
I
God.
Anyway, yeah, it's got a demo, but yeah,
It it
not
look
too impressed.
it looks kind of fun and looks kind of neat, but 4 weeks like doesn't look like long enough unless they've got like a much more advanced build of this game. Like, it depends on when they've launched, when they put up the demo. If that was like 2 years ago, then I guess. But yeah, I wouldn't hold out a lot of hope.
Now, the other one I played is another very short demo. Uh, Storyteller.
Okay.
Now this is I quite liked. It's not a very big game at all. Essentially, you get given like a page in a storybook, and you have a set of scenes and characters, and you can place them in like different orders and populate the scenes with different characters, and you then like make a story. And there's
Oh.
like a objective, like I don't know, a simple one, for example, is story of a heartbreak. You see it in actually one of the pictures.
Yeah, I'm looking at it
And so
now.
you can place a garden scene down, put two characters in, and they fall in love. Then you can put in a graveyard scene and put one of the characters on the gravestone. That means he's dead. And then you can have a scene where one of the characters reacts to the other being dead. And for example, if you remove the first scene, um, the other person won't care that the other one is dead because the in love scene hasn't been put down.
Yeah, it looks like it changes the context of the scenes before it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at this one now. So it's like, yeah, they're in love. Then the next scene is love between her and the villain, but she's like, hell no, I love the other guy. And then so he kills the villain kills Edgar. Yeah, that looks pretty neat actually.
Yeah, and I quite liked how finding shortcuts. Like for example, at one point I could put down 6 scenes, but I could do it in 4 to make the story.
Interesting.
And you can also mix and match the characters as you like. So, for example, when it was time to do like Romeo and Juliet, I had it the other way around with the characters.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hang on, I pressed download to download the demo. Hang on. But it doesn't
Yeah,
crackle out.
or
Okay, I'll cancel that.
or when there was a scene and the requirement was a broken heart is mended. So I had the characters I had was one guy and 2 ladies. So I had the guy and the lady fall in love. Then I had the guy die. And then I had the 2 remaining ladies marry, and that fulfilled the story.
It's inclusive too. Awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, I find it very neat. The demo is quite short, but it's got plenty of scenes, so give you a feel for how the game like goes. And there was one actually which took me a while to figure out.
Well, that's bad because you're really smart. It must have been hard.
No, not that long. Like, how long did I play this for? I played it for 23 minutes. Hey.
All right.
So yeah, I recommend it. It was cute and it was fun.
Right. I played the best demo I've ever played in my entire life.
Yes.
But I played a Shop Tycoon Prepare Your Wallet edition.
Oh god.
Oh boy. Now I love games like this. I love little idle games. Like I love like game dev simulator, roller coaster tycoon, all that kind of shit. Right.
One second. I put shop tie into
about 7
Google search, and it's coffee shop tycoon,
Yep.
shopping empire tycoon, shop manager video game tycoon.
Yes, that Shop Tycoon Prepare Your Wallet. The second one down.
I got it.
Look, it seemed kind of cool.
Because
I do like those kind of things, but I don't think English was their first language. I think the developer of this game, because like for example, like the produce section, which is like fruit and veg, is labeled production, which I was a bit like okay. There's a lot of stuff like the money denominations. Instead of having like 1 million, it says like 1,000K. Which is kind of a bit weird to me. I didn't expect to see that. And like, if you end up making enough money, it just goes off the edge of the screen, like off the edge of the UI.
Right.
Very, very like the fact this is out like confused me. Sometimes I played it and I was like, okay, once they fix that ready for release, some of this stuff might be oh, it's out. Oh no. I mean, they're updating it by the looks of things. But you can have like fleets and stuff. You can have like delivery fleets. And like stock rooms, it's like it's a shop tycoon game. It's very simple, but I would like a very cheap one because I remember like during uni when I was home for summer and like I had the crappy spare PC at my parents' house. So I remember just playing like Roblox, like the Shop Tycoon on Roblox.
Yeah,
for like hours, just because it's kind of nice to just watch Critical Role and just play that.
It looks a bit like a top-down version of. I saw somebody else play it. It was like, I've forgotten the name now, but it was like 3D and like third person, and you were managing like a
shopkeep,
something like that,
like a fantasy thing.
No. It was Modern Times.
Oh.
It was like retail something. King of Retail, My Retail. Good grief, there's quite a few. Oh yeah, King of Retail. I saw some people play it. Reminds me a bit of that, but then top down.
Oh, I think I've seen Let's Game It Out play this.
Yeah. Also, I had a quick Google. The dev for Shop Tycoon, it's one person, and I think he's Polish.
Right.
Because his website is .bl.
Right. Yeah, it's a localization thing. If it's like one like his later games would potentially have better localization being able to build up a you got to build up a pedigree, and then you can develop more with a bigger team, and like I said, get some proper localization in. It's not like a problem. Like, to me, stuff like that really is not an issue, but it's just something I noticed. And I did find it interesting that you can have stuff like a sex shop, like a video game store. I'm like, okay, so there's more to this. In like the demo, you just get a regular supermarket, for which you run out of money very quickly if you don't kind of keep on top of it. And when you go bankrupt, like in any tycoon, you go bankrupt and it goes, oh, you've gone bankrupt, take a loan. I was like, all right, took a loan, and then the game ended. So I don't know if this is the problem I have with this specific thing with the demo. That I don't know if that's the demo ending, because the demo ends regardless of how you go bankrupt, or if it's a bug that happens in the retail game, that if I go bankrupt once, I'll just be shut down and that's that, and there's no no point in the loan system. Who knows?
I'm looking at the pictures now, and it looks quite silly.
Yeah, it's quite fun. It's quite funny, like the bandiquitos you gotta like click on to like arrest them. I did play one real feckin' good one. Called Dreadlands.
Okay, that name rings a bell.
Like, I've been playing a lot of Mechanicus the past few days.
Yeah.
And it's a XCOM, strategy game.
Yeah.
And it's like in the post-apocalypse Mad Max. Well, probably different to Mad Max, actually. More like grunge punk. Where like the overworld is very toxic actively. And you have like gangs, kind of like Necromunda, but on the surface. And I went through the tutorial missions and killed the stuff, but what I really liked about it was, aside from just the XCOM style gameplay, was that you have like an overworld. You like accept contracts from your base camp. And you go out and you like actually click and move around the open world, and you have a choice to do random encounters. You could be walking around, you'll just see, oh, there's a gang war going on here. Maybe we can like jump in and loot some shit. And you kind of jump in and there's like two teams already fighting each other, so you can either like hang back and let them fight it out, or you can jump in and try and move the process along. And then loot, you loot the spoils.
Yeah.
Really cool. Shame there's no way to flee if things start to go badly. That's my only, I guess, bugbear.
Looking at some of the reviews, it's a bit mixed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, on Steam, some of the reviews for Dreadlands.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about bugs.
Sound of the game is terrible. I mean, it's a lot of these. I didn't see much cheating. Well, again, I had the demo, so I guess look at the reviews, play the demo, then look at the reviews. It's published by Fat Shark, so I have a lot of faith in it. They're the same guys who published Vermintide. So I have faith in Fat Shark.
Well, they're the publisher, but not the developer.
Well, yeah, but the publisher may still make decisions on what they publish, don't they? They also still have an input in what goes in the game and things. Like they still have sway on what happens. But like Vermintide 2 has been great, so I mean, they can be hit or miss, fine. But I did really like Dreadlands. It was really satisfying. I didn't come across any of the cheating stuff, but again, that was just a demo. I did like 2 or 3 fights.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun, and it's like 20 quid. It might be a bit much. I'd probably say if it drops down to like a $5 or maybe even a $10, I'm probably going to pick it up.
Okay.
It is on my wish list for a sale. But if it drops to like £10 or like $15, I'll probably pick it up because it's pretty good in that regard. Have you got
wow.
Got another one?
The only other demo I played was War Mongrels.
Oh, the controversial one. Please tell me there's something controversial. Okay.
Honestly, the majority of my gripes are to do with the game.
All right. So
not necessarily with the story or setting.
just to give some context, why I'm so excited for you to talk about this. These are the same guys who made Hatred, which is
Yeah.
not just an incredibly edgy game, but a shit game too. But yeah, they're the very hashtag edgy, very hashtag controversial game developers who made that really crappy twin stick shooter that everyone was scared of. It's about World War II. World War II is, you can cock that up. That is possible to cock up World War II. Yeah, I'm just kind of curious as to how this went. So please, Ty, regale me on what happened.
It's a real-time tactics game, so it's like Commando, Desperados, or Partisans if you've played that. Which means you have a cast of characters, special abilities, and you have to like go through a map using stealth or other means, and like take down targets and go through, and going towards an objective. Now, there's 2 missions in the demo. So the tutorial mission and then the one immediately after it. Initial impressions were okay. The tutorial was very handholdy. It wouldn't let you do anything except the thing that it was trying to teach you.
Really?
So, for example, it wanted me to pick up a broken bottle to like throw it as a distraction. It wouldn't let me move the character anywhere else except to click on that broken bottle. It was quite restrictive. I encountered a few technical things, like where the enemy's vision would, like, it was in a trench and they were around the corner and they turned and they could, like, they shouldn't have been able to see, but they did.
Not keeping to its own rules.
Yeah, that seemed to be more just a bug, though. I didn't encounter one after that. Yeah, the 2 main characters are, well, at the start anyway, are both Wehrmacht deserters.
Just give us a little ELI 5 on Wehrmacht.
The regular German army.
Right.
In World War II.
So not specifically Nazis, just German soldiers, or
in the backstory, one of them was mentioned to be in the NSDAP, so the Nazi party.
Okay, right. Oh, the National Socialist Party. Okay.
Yeah. Story-wise, I don't think I've got the full image of it, but essentially, it's now he started fighting in 1941, and he was full of like nationalist zeal. Then he got disillusioned by all of the killing of the peasants and innocents on the Eastern Front. Oh yeah, I should actually mention trigger warning for the terrible things that happen in World War II.
Yeah, we'll go for a ethnic cleansing trigger warning here. Nazi trigger warning.
And he refused at one point to join in a firing squad, and was put into a penal battalion, which is just people that have to do sort of menial or dangerous tasks for a bit until they have like regained honor or trust, and then they can go back to being regular soldiers. There's more to it, but that's like a basic overview. It's now 1944, and they get a chance to escape during a Russian attack, and that's where the tutorial starts. You have to escape the battlefield, essentially. Your other character is also a Wehrmacht deserter, who is a bit of like a bruiser who loves to fight, and I don't know anything else about him, really.
But he's strong, Ty. That's his personality. He's strong.
Yeah, maybe there's more to him in later story bits, but that's all you get. There was another character which I briefly encountered in, I could briefly control in the second mission, who is a sort of Lithuanian, I think he's Lithuanian, which is, I believe, where the game takes place at the start. One of the first criticisms, because it's really noticeable, is the accents, the voice acting.
Oh no.
The two German guys have got heavy American accents.
Okay, that's not where I thought that was going.
One of them sounds like Geralt from The Witcher.
Okay.
The Lithuanian guy, he sounds like he's from London. He's got a really heavy British accent,
So they weren't even trying then.
which is kind of immersion breaking when he says like, "Ah, yes, I'm from around here, right?" That sort of stuff
Well,
in Lithuania.
I'm from Lithuania, mate. Can't you tell?
Yeah,
Can't you
that's
tell?
what it sounded like.
Oh fuck.
Um, the NPCs speak native language,
That's
so
nice.
they were speaking Russian or German.
Mm-hmm.
There weren't any subtitles, and I
Oh.
don't think they were actually talking to each other, because at one point I saw two soldiers approaching each other, and they started talking, and they said the exact same line in German to each other at the same time.
Oh yeah,
There's like
because
overlapping.
oh.
So yeah, it's just ambient dialogue. I think I don't think they were actually saying it. There's actually NPCs actually talking. So the biggest complaint I have about the demo is that it's secretly a timed demo. It doesn't tell you about it. I didn't see any notice that it was. But in the second mission, at first I thought it was a bug, or the game crashed, because at one point in the second mission, I was just instantly booted to the main menu,
Huh.
like in the middle of gameplay.
Okay.
And then a pop-up window came up and said, "Thank you for playing. Would you like to wishlist our game on Steam?" And it's got two buttons: accept and go to store.
Fuck. Oh.
What do you think? Okay, what do you think accept does?
Accept goes to the store.
Yeah, it opens up the Steam store page.
And
What do you
does
think go to store does?
goes to the store.
No, it just closes the pop-up.
Fuck. So not only do they make like shitty faux controversial games, they're just shit at making games.
Other minor things. It seems to be little bit. It might have just been a demo, but like the abilities your characters have is a bit not simple, I want to say, but a bit limiting. But it is the start. Maybe it gets expanded on later on. Oh yeah, it's got one unique mechanic that it's introducing to the real-time tactics genre, in that you can take direct control of one of your guys in combat mode, which means you can move him with WAS and D, and you can shoot and aim with the mouse.
Okay.
The problem I had with it is that it's one character at a time. Unless I missed something, and you can do both. But from what I tried, it was one character at a time, which meant that the other character was just sitting there doing nothing, while the other one I was shooting with. So in Partisans, which is also a World War II real-time tactics game, you can like set up ambushes and put your guys into cover, and they will shoot on their own. Now you can't directly control guys, but it was a bit more manageable. Whereas here, it was like, oh crap, one of my guys is wounded. Move to the other guy and enter combat mode, and then the guy I used to be on is now just like crouching in the bushes, not doing anything.
Man, I'm looking at some of the
So,
reviews. Holy fuck. So
um,
this saved game file has been created using an older version of the game and can't be loaded. Do you wish to remove Chapter 3, the motivation? Are you fucking
yeah,
kidding me? Oh my god.
I didn't encounter it in a demo,
Yeah.
but yeah, the reviews are talking about some serious bugs.
Oh, Chapter 10. Oh, that's horrible. Imagine getting 25 hours into the game and then having it just oh, these guys are crap.
Presentation wise,
Yeah.
good in some parts, a bit lacking in others. So some of the good things is it can be quite detailed and I don't want to say pretty, but like because like you do look at some terrible stuff, but the environments are quite well made sometimes.
It's got very high fidelity.
Yeah, if you zoom in very far, you'll see that the resolution isn't that great, but you generally don't look that closely.
Yeah.
I find it quite neat that there's collectibles you can pick up, which are like real posters and stuff like from the time, and some obscure ones. Like there were some Lithuanian posters which I've never seen before, but you're in Lithuania, so it makes sense. I thought it was pretty cool.
Well, you know a question I'm going to ask you, Ty.
Yes.
How historically accurate is it?
I
love it.
So
I love it when you rip
because
apart World War II shit.
because the demo was timed, I didn't really get that far into the second level.
Okay.
And the second level is when you're the main character, I suppose, the German guy who isn't the strong one. I forget his name. So he's searching for a reason to go on. Was at the start of the mission, and then he learns from the British Lithuanian guy that this village is being used for extermination. So there are train loads of like people being brought in to be shot.
Right.
And he is incredibly horrified and by it. I always find it a little bit, I don't know, having been on the Eastern Front for like 4 years.
Why are you shocked?
And not knowing that this is happening. I guess it's possible, but it's, I don't know. Maybe the way the story will go is that the big bruiser guy knew about it all along, and will tell him like, how did you not know? Maybe it'll go that way. Again, I don't really know because the demo ended.
Yeah.
But
So
now,
on.
yeah, that part, yeah, is good. Well, good. I mean, that is accurate. The whole train loads of people coming in and being shot.
Yeah.
Some historical inaccuracies in terms of uniforms and equipment. So none of the soldiers are wearing all of their kit.
Okay.
So you know how soldiers will have like a back, essentially their backs will be like loads of stuff, like a bag with like some food in it, your gas mask canister, your extra pouches for stuff. Yeah, no, that's none of them are wearing that. Like their backs are bare.
Okay. Like
in uniform.
So lazy modeling.
Yeah, it's inaccurate because they'd be wearing all of that stuff. Like, where is their gas mask?
Yeah.
That is required equipment. Anyway, in the first level, the regular Wehrmacht troops were wearing the period-appropriate sort of ankle boots. Because they stopped issuing the like high jack boots to the regular troops because of leather shortages.
Right.
In the second level, you meet some SS. All of them are wearing these jack boots.
Well, were the SS special though? Weren't they like elite or something?
Not to this extent of it. Also, none of them were wearing their extra equipment either. Weapon variety was very low. There's 2 weapons in the game, not counting melee stuff.
Yeah.
The German bolt action rifle and the MP40.
Oh, so like the Guaya here, or it's called the Guaya.
The Kar 98K.
Oh, the Kar 98.
Yeah. There's no other weapons in the game.
In the demo, at least.
Yeah, in the demo. I think that Polish Lithuanian guy has a Colt pistol. I didn't get to try it out though.
Yeah.
Now it's the funny thing is, in the first mission where you have to sneak past like Russians, they've also got the German guns. And at first I thought it was a demo thing, as like saving some time, and that they'll have like their actual Russian weapons later. But one of your characters actually remarks on it when you pick up the equipment, saying like, they've got the same guns as we do. They must be having supply problems. Whereas I just kind of found it lazy that they couldn't put in like the Russian PPSH weapon or stuff like that.
Wasn't were they were allied at this point, right? Russia and Germany.
No. This is them fighting against each other.
So it makes even less sense.
Yeah.
Like you could at least get away with it if they were allied.
No, they were never really. I guess they were kind of in 1940, but even then,
alliance of convenience.
Yeah, but no, not 41 onwards, and this was 44. They were the worst of enemies.
Right.
But it just came across as a bit lazy to me. That like only having 2 weapons, and even then, it could just be a different model.
Oh,
anyway,
sorry. I just want to clear up my ignorance. It's Italy I'm thinking of. That tried to did they try to swap sides?
Yes, they did.
Okay, that's where I was getting confused. Sorry, apologies, historians. I got Russia mixed up with Italy. Easy mistake.
During the Russian attack on German positions in the tutorial level, it seemed to be a little bit of the Russian human wave attack myth, because they just had guys running into German machine gun fire.
And that didn't happen.
No.
Okay.
Especially at this point of the war. But yeah, so that seemed to be like the enemy at the gates myth of like Russians just running into the open to be shot.
They've got to run out of ammo sometime.
Yeah, so that was inaccurate.
What it looks like for the game they've tried to make and the name of it, it sounds like they're trying to make like an Inglourious Bastards A-team ragtag gang of specialists that fight back against the Nazi war machine and cocked it up royally.
Two other points I guess I wanted to make. Something I quite liked is that there is a sort of 2D cartoon cinematics between the missions, which is like the Manfred, the non-bruiser German guy, talking about like what they're doing and sort of his thoughts. I found them pretty interesting because it's sort of this monochrome 2D art style, and it shows like it goes into like symbolism, because it shows him like lined up with all of the other like Nazi party members at one of the rallies, and then it sort of blitzes forward into like a Russian scene, and the guy and the German soldiers next to him like turn into wolves. That's also cool. So it had some cool. I found that pretty cool to look at.
Quite artistic.
Yeah.
But however,
now there was also some weird. I don't know. Maybe it was in character, but so there was a scene where the reason they're going into the village in the second level is because they need food and fuel, and so the big guy says to Manfred, the other guy, like, I'm really hungry. And then Manfred said, there should be some food in that warehouse where you have to go to. And then the big guy says, like, Manfred, in that exact tone.
Oh, for God.
And he goes like, what? I'm hungry.
Oh, so they made a big dumb idiot out of him then.
And then Manfred says, like, I'm not your mother, Edward? Ewald. And then he says, like, my mother died 10 years ago, Manfred. Are you my new mother?
Oh, ironically or unironically?
It sounded ironic to me, so it sounded like he was joking.
Right. But the fact you're not sure is a concern in delivery.
And then he just says, shut up, Ewald, which he says a lot, to be honest. Yeah, I don't know. It was a very weird moment. It seemed kind of out of place.
Yeah. Trying to be Tarantino. Yeah. They're trying to be funny as well as a dark, gritty comedy.
Yeah.
Oh, guys, there's a light in this game. Probably been shit though.
What other things did I notice? Oh yeah, yeah. Another thing. So it's got as in other games of this genre, like the new ones, it's got you can pause and then plan actions and then have them happen simultaneously.
Oh, like Blaze the Shogun.
Yeah, yeah, and Desperados. It's very cool and it's kind of necessary, definitely.
Mhm.
So it's good that it's in. It's got this is a very minor nitpick, but when you activate and deactivate it, the screen flashes white
Oh,
to like as a transition to go into the scene, and I found that incredibly irritating.
does sound it.
Oh, yeah. So overall, my thoughts are that it's a little bit poor. Um, Not horrible. Like it's definitely not terrible. I also don't think I really got far enough in to get any conclusion on like how they approached the World War II thing. Because yeah, I don't have enough information to come to a meaningful conclusion on that.
Looks like you're gonna have to spend 40 quid and buy the game, Ty. And let us know.
I'm not buying it.
Why not?
I'd,
See,
so
you're saying is you don't
there's
recommend
another
it.
there's another World War II real-time tactics game called Partisans 1941,
Buy that.
in which you play a bunch of Soviet partisans. Now,
Oh,
the
yes.
story of that game I didn't like because it's very like, basic. It's basically your Robin Hood. Is essentially it. So I found the story to be quite basic and uninteresting, but gameplay-wise, it's a lot better.
Except for the propaganda.
Well, that's what I meant with story.
Right. Okay. But you'd recommend Partisans over this.
Yeah.
Because I guess it's not as
In terms of gameplay, yeah, I found Partisans to be more enjoyable.
far less egregious as well, issues.
Yeah, so maybe they'll end up fixing it, and it'll be worth to give it a go.
When did it come out?
It came out very recently.
Yeah, last month, so yeah, there's a possible unless they already don't give a shit and moved on.
Oh, another tiny thing actually. But in all of the games so far in real-time tactics game, usually you've got two options in melee.
Mhm.
You can either knock somebody out or you can kill them. And if you knock them out, you then have to like tie them up.
Yeah.
In this game, that you can only kill. It's not a huge thing. I guess it's kind of like I don't know. It's just something I noticed. There's no non-lethal option in terms of approaching somebody. Oh, another presentation thing. I almost forgot. So when we go in to melee somebody, and like one guy has a knife and the other guy uses his fist, and it's like an instant kill. Yeah.
Yeah.
I found the animations and like sound for it to be lackluster. Like
Okay.
the guy walks up to him, punches him, and he drops like a sack of potatoes. Um, and with the knife thing, again, it's like very quick and like not very, I don't know, visceral, I suppose. Like I was expecting like a bit more, a bit more with it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I found those animations. Oh, and there was a weird thing with the AI where at one point he spotted me, and instead of shooting me right there and then, he decided to run to the other side of the field, go around the wall, and then run back, and then shoot me. And that was a weird moment. You wanna know the worst thing about these games?
Go on.
The AI tends to be a bit basic, and it's not a bad thing because they sort of need to be predictable. So you can like plan your approach and you know exactly, oh, this AI will react to this, but it won't react to that. That sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I I haven't yet come across any actual differences in like how they in like which units react to what, or they've all so far reacted to like all of my abilities, like whistling and um, dropping a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
But I imagine that will come along. There was an officer which could spot me if I was in my soldier's disguise.
Okay.
But
Oh, an officer makes sense. He'd know his
yeah,
troops.
yeah, that makes sense. I think Partisans did it like that as well.
Partisans did it better,
Um,
is it, Ty? Is that what you're trying to say? Partisans did it. Partisans did it.
uh, but one of the most annoying things though with this genre of games is that one of them that I think had the most interesting AI is like a really old one to do with Robin Hood. It's like, when did that come out? Robin Hood, Hood Legends of Sherwood. When did that come out?
2004.
2002.
Oh.
So yeah, this is an old one. Like it's from the time of like the first few Commandos and stuff.
Hmm.
But the AI had more depth to it. Funnily enough, in that, for example, you had officers, and if they spotted something suspicious, they would shout soldiers, and like troops in the area would converge onto him, and he'd tell them to like go into an area and search. Like, and if you were fighting his troops, he would only actually join combat if all of his other subordinates had failed. And I remember one moment where like a peasant had spotted me, a peasant who was like loyal to the sheriff, and she shrieked, ran to the nearest officer, told the officer where I was, and the officer gathered troops and sent a search party. I've not seen that in like a real-time tactics game since,
Wow, that's
but
actually
maybe,
pretty advanced.
yeah, maybe it is there, but I've just not encountered it. And another thing was like you had guys with shields and you had archers and crossbowmen, and like if they were together, what they would sometimes do is because like Robin Hood is good with archery, and if you were shooting guys with your bow, the shieldmen would form a shield wall, and then the archers would form up behind them. So you couldn't shoot either of them, and you would have to like break the shield wall or go around them to get them because like you couldn't hit them. And it's funny that this old game has had like interesting AI, but that I've not seen in real time tactics games since.
Well, a lot of older games were really experimental like that.
Yeah,
A lot of them do have. I mean, look at like the old Metal Gear Solid games. They were so advanced with what they remembered you did and read your memory cards, and you know what I mean.
yeah.
It was. I think stuff's quite safe
Mm,
nowadays. Is obviously they want to play it safe. Um, but yeah. So you don't
uh,
recommend War Mongrels?
no,
Yeah.
um, especially not considering all of the reviews that talk about how broken it is right now. But yeah, that's all the demos I've played.
Well, I got one last one. Then my rant
Mm-hmm.
about Inscription. I played a game by Don't Nod. I'm not sure if you know them.
No.
They made Life is Strange.
Oh,
So I played
yeah.
through Life is Strange one with Nikki, like way back in uni,
Mm-hmm.
and that was actually really good. There are some bits where I think they dropped the ball, but ultimately those kind of like slow walking sim games, I generally like to play with someone else because I get quite bored and detached.
Yeah.
When I'm it's just me.
Yeah.
Twin Mirror, I thought I'll give it a go because I want to see if I'm smart enough now to play these games on
Twin
my
Mirror.
own. Twin Mirror, yeah. I don't know where they're going with it. So you start off as a guy who goes up to like a place called Lookout Point. He drops basically a bunch of exposition as if I'm supposed to know, but that stuff is revealed later.
Mm-hmm.
If you know what I mean, it's like he says this stuff, and then later on in the demo, he's like, "Oh yeah, blah blah blah, Lookout Point. We used to go there all the time. That's the significance of this thing." And you have like a mechanic. Yes, say mechanic. It's not really a mechanic. It's just it's one of those games that it'll say like press A to go into Mind Palace, and
Yeah.
it like it will not advance unless you do this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I hesitate to call it a mechanic because you can't really do anything else. and the world kind of like shatters, and you go into like this crystallized version of his memory, like the visualization of his memories. And you kind of like, oh, I used to play Pac-Man a lot, and oh, this, because you're back in town for a guy's funeral, and he used to be your best friend, but you didn't talk to him for some reason, like near his death. And you go through you go into your mind palace, you look at all the great times you had with this guy, and I'm like, all right, why didn't I talk to this guy? You then eventually shuffle your way back down into town. Turns out you left because you're an investigative journalist, and you wrote a article that got like the local mine shut down, which put like everyone out of work.
Okay.
And so nobody likes you, which is fine because I can relate to that. Not a lot of people like me. I was like, finally, a character I can relate to. And you kind of talk to some of the people. You get like some of the history with like the one of the characters who's there. And you talk to like his daughter. She jumps in your car, and you talk to her, and she's like, "I don't think my dad. I think it was a murder." And I was like, "Oh, that kind of came out of nowhere." She just has this hunch, that his car, because he dies in a car crash. She has this hunch that it's not. It wasn't just a car crash, and then it shows like some dude sat in the back, who is talking to you, and only you can talk to, and it looks like time is frozen around you. It's like, okay, so this is some kind of manifestation of something in his mind, something in Sam, the main character's mind. I don't know if they're going down a mental health route. I don't know if they're going to show this as, oh, this is, the Sam, the main character, schizophrenic, so he has developed, or DID, or is it DID?
Do you make any choices?
Yes. One of two choices.
It's listed as it's got a tag for choose your own adventure.
Yeah, they all kind of are that don't nod. You have like moral quandaries. Like the first one is the first one you come across. So when the daughter is like, "Oh, I think my dad was murdered," you have a choice to either agree with her and look into it, or tell her it's like you're being silly, don't worry about it, and then secretly look into it behind her back. I was like, oh, okay, cool. I can't even remember what I picked. That's how engaged I was. And you end up going into the bar to this guy's wake, because you don't go to the funeral because you're an edgy edgelord who can't even make it to your best friend's funeral after he dies.
Out of curiosity, do they tell you what the journalism thing that your guy wrote was that got the mine shut down?
It was something to do with health and safety. It was like, it turns out, it was like after one of the characters' fathers. So she I can't remember her name, but she agrees that you should have done it because it would have got shut down sooner or later because her father lost his legs or something. In there. So yeah, something that makes total sense, but would piss off a lot of like people who have jobs there. Yeah, you kind of keep talking to this manifestation, and I can't really determine whether or not it's meant to be an ability he has, or whether they're trying to say something about mental health. But like, you end up drinking throughout the night, you have some interactions with some people, and then you drink a shitload of beer because the barman kind of likes you for some reason. And so you drink a shit ton of beer, you wake up then in the motel shirtless, and you like wander around hungover, and you look out, you're like, oh, I need to splash some water on my face, and you do that, and he looks at himself in the mirror, and I was like, oh my god, it's the game. But I thought something interesting was going to happen when he looked at himself, but nothing happened. And you find your shirt, and it's covered in blood.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, and he's like, what happened last night? What happened? And so you go back into your mind palace, and a door, you're like standing in like a really long corridor, and a door explodes, and there's some like some huge dark figure, humanoid thing marching after you, and you start running, and there's like a gate in front of me, like a door, and I was like, oh, I'll run towards that, and it kind of went, he stopped. It went to a cutscene of him like turning around, seeing it advance towards him, and then I went back to the beginning. I was like, oh, I ran, I'm supposed to avoid these, and was like avoiding them. Then they were like, oh, you need to pick the right door, and I was like, oh shit, okay, I'll run into this one. It did like the little animation of him looking behind himself again, like the exact same copy-pasted animation of cutscene. This thing marched towards him. And the funny thing was, I just left it. I just put the controller down. for like 5-10 minutes, and he just ran in a straight line towards that door, done that little cutscene, and then went back to the beginning. There's no fail state. Once I found that out, I hated the game. Because I was like, I can't fail. This is exactly what I hated about that Prince of Persia game, Forgotten Sands, I think it was, where you just couldn't die.
Huh.
And then we had a power cut. I could not have been more relieved for a power cut, because I really didn't want to keep playing it. I think I think it might be something if I like were to play through it with Farron, maybe like I might enjoy it. But it's a slog, man. It's a don't nod game. If you like that kind of stuff, like I never played True Colors or Life is Strange 2. That's why I decided to try this one, because I'm behind on the other Life is Stranges. But mechanic wise, there's not a lot to it. It's walk over, and then you can either look or interact. Those are your two options. Multiple choice game tie. Choose your own adventure. You can either look at a thing, talk to a thing, or look at and then talk to a thing. Yeah, it's. And like the choices, I don't know. They seem to be some kind of moral choice. I don't know how it advances.
Right.
But I think it's a classic case of this just ain't for me.
Yeah, I get I'm getting that vibe from what you're saying.
Yeah, I think it's just I wasn't a huge fan because one, I didn't really get what was going on. I need a bit more from a demo. I guess it wasn't quite clear, like what was really going on. Like, is this thing in his head? Is it like? And for me, that's not a question that makes me want to spend money to buy it. It makes me want to answer that question first, then I'll decide whether I like that reveal. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. Yeah, it's probably really good. It's award winning, so I guess I'm wrong. But it's something it wasn't really my jam.
I don't think I will like it.
It
doesn't seem to be my thing.
I just thought about trying something that I wouldn't normally try.
Yeah. I mean, remember when I tried Tree Growing Simulator?
Yeah. Wait, but you love strategy games. It's the same thing, right? Watching grass fucking grow. Oh, I'm joking. I'm sorry. I have my rant about Inscription.
Oh,
allow me a moment. No. Overall, I liked the game. We've been through it. We've talked about this personally. Overall, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
The problem I have is having a demo for a game like this is not a good idea. Because based on the demo, it's just the card game. As far as I'm aware, I'm kind of tempted to go back to the demo.
Yeah.
And see how far I can get. But then I feel like that's kind of spoiling the point of a demo. Is that the demo supposed to be my first bite?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, it's presented me with a really cool card game.
I guess sort of the demo might have been trying to give you the what do they call it? Give you the hints of the larger story. But I don't really recall.
With like the cards that talk, because I remember that. You have like the cards that talk to you in the demo.
Do you remember? I don't know. Did you? So that card game, the first card game,
Ludum Dare.
Yeah, was originally a standalone thing called Sacrifices Must Be Made.
Yes, I did some backstory. I did some research, and I'm waiting for him to just create a standalone card game now. I genuinely, through some of the YouTubers I've been watching, and that I've linked you. See that John Wolf thing I sent you? Yeah, when he's like, I know there's puzzles, but the card game's really good. That's kind of how I felt. I was like, this is really good. I don't want to solve anything. I'm just liking the game.
So, I was reading somebody talk about how he liked the puzzles in that as part of an addition to a roguelite game.
Yeah.
In that, so he said that he was quite tired of like the roguelite formula. In that he'd been playing it a lot, and so he was getting a bit tired of it all often being kind of the same stuff. And then he said that he liked the fact that there were puzzles where you could essentially cheat at the roguelite game by completing those puzzles.
Yeah, you get like really powerful cards and extra cards for nothing.
Yeah, so he liked these puzzles as sort of part of a he said a subversion of the roguelite genre, in that you're sort of breaking the roguelite genre by doing these puzzles outside of the game.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I say overall, I did like the game.
yeah.
For me, it was just kind of gutting that I was sold the card game. I think that's another issue I have, is that with this Daniel Mullins, if the only reason I know who he is because of you. Like
Yeah.
any other person, like
Uh-huh.
if I wasn't expecting a subversion, I'd be super pissed.
Right.
Like I thought back to myself, go, what if I bought Inscription based off of the demo? I probably wouldn't have completed it when it turned into like that 8-bit thing. The Act 2. Fuck it, spoilers. Come on, the game's been out for ages. No, I'm joking.
It's
But
not that long.
whatever, spoilers. I don't look. There's a subversion. It's a Daniel Mullins game. I won't spoil the second act, but it changes. But when it gets to that bit, I probably would have just stopped, because I'd have gone, what the hell is this? I expected to play a really cool, you know. And there's more of it later in a different vein, and I did like that. But I don't know. It just the subversion kind of annoyed me a bit. I wish some of that subversion was more in the demo. You know what I mean?
guess, yeah. I guess what you're going. Yeah, I can see that.
But like consumer, because it take you longer than 2 hours to get to the Act 2.
Yeah.
So you can't refund it once you realise you've been sold a subversive game that you don't like. You know, I don't know. It's a thing against, I guess. It was frustrating because like demos, I would love them to be more. Yeah, as we do this, as we want them to be more prevalent. We want to bring them
More
to the surface.
representative.
But this is Sorry, exactly what you're gonna say. Then it's not really that representative of the final product.
Yeah.
Kind of upsetting. That's a bit too far.
Yeah. One view you could take at that is that, go full spoilers for the ending, but so technically, you are not playing Inscription, sort of. You are playing somebody who found Inscription and is playing it, the Lucas Card person.
Yeah, lucky Carter.
Yeah. And in that sense, I guess it's kind of like you're playing a character who's also like surprised at the game not being what it seemed on the surface.
Yeah, but he's not real and doesn't have to refund it. Like that's, you know what I mean. I get what you're getting at, but I don't know. I want to say it's a really good game, and the card game is amazing. He really does. I wouldn't be surprised if he does end up releasing some kind of standalone card game for each of them, unless there's sequels. Because as you said, there's Pony Island and the Hex, which are like prequels, or this is almost the sequel of like the media universe.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're getting too much into spoilers now, but either way,
yeah, the story is not done, I think.
Yeah,
from what I've seen, so there's more stuff to it. Yeah, it's kind of weird though. Like I mentioned this to you, like in a text, because I was thinking about it. In that, all of his other games have included fake games inside them.
Yeah.
Which are like mini games that are kind of basic, but the suspension of disbelief is that these are supposed to be actual games in the universe. So like in the Hex, shall I spoil it a bit?
Go for it. I'm not
guess.
Gonna play it.
Okay. I guess you could watch somebody play it.
Yeah.
One of the games you come across is like this sort of Sonic-esque or Mario-esque, more Mario, I think, 2D side-scrolling platformer. And as you go through it, Steam reviews pop up.
Oh, okay.
Talking about like, oh yeah, I remember playing this from my childhood. It's a fantastic gem. And it's actually people from your Steam friends list putting those reviews down. I think it's kind of cool.
That's awesome.
And then you play like the sequel, and it's like Radical Road, and you've got like sunglasses, and you're on a skateboard, and it's got a very like kind of shitty fighting mechanic. And then the reviews change up on, oh yeah, this one wasn't great. The reviews say, and then this was the start of the downward spiral of this franchise.
I might
Anyway,
try and catch a playthrough of the Hex.
yeah. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. So these games were basic. But in the universe, they were the equivalent of like Sonic the Hedgehog,
Yeah.
and there's like a RPG, and that was the equivalent of like Final Fantasy VII or something.
Yeah. Anyway, that was my rant about Inscription. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. I like it, and I think it deserves a spot in the Steam Awards. Absolutely. But just the demo was not representative of the game, and that kind of annoyed me when I liked the card game so much.
Yeah, that's fair. I think definitely like the amount of people that have the same thoughts on it. I'm curious to see what Lucas, well, it's not Lucas, what Daniel Mullins will do next.
Are you thinking of Lucas
Like,
Pope?
yeah.
Yes, I know the same thing whenever I keep trying to mention my brain wants to say Lucas Pope. Like, no, that's Papers, Please. And Overdin.
So yeah, I'm curious to see what Daniel will do, what Mr. Mullins will do next. Whether it's again a just another chapter in his universe saga with like completely different games and mini games, or whether it'll be a sequel to Inscription.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we gotta close this off because I need to go sort out the litter trays because I got D&D in a bit.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was a nice little ramble as well. Felt good to get it off my chest and have the gaming community hate me because I don't love Inscription.
No, I think it was a very balanced take, and I think
I'm gonna head to the subreddit. I'm gonna go be toxic to people. How can you like this game? It's subversive. I was sold the wrong game. It's against my consumer rights as an American. Wait, hang on. Right. Well,
okay.
pick this up next week.
Yeah.
See everyone next week, and we'll get that Rustler sponsor I was talking about. I'm sure we will. I'll pester them on Twitter. That's how it works.
Oh no.
See you next week, everyone.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.